everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. So we get to start today in the plant room where I have to change the pot on the left hand side and the pot on the right hand side. The hole that goes all the way down to the base of this bonsai pot would be way too deep of a pot for the trees. They're going to be way up high. So we have to put a new floor, if you will, on the right and left pot structure that I made, kind of the frame I made. We have to put a new floor on there. But before I can put a floor on there, I have to add some wood, some more trim, because what I want to do is have the floor a little bit in so we can have multiple layers of rocks kind of staggering in. Well, let's just show you what I'm doing. The next phase of my bonsai pot fish tank is I've created my little side things here, and we're gonna have rocks that build up to the side, but this will be a really deep pot. A lot of soil with wasted space. So there won't be any soil till about this from here on up. So I've got some boards down here, probably more boards than I needed. I could have saved some weight. They're in there now, so I can't take them out. I could maybe get a jigsaw in there and cut them out, but I'll leave them in there for stability. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put a top on here, on the inside layer. Not to the edge, but to here. So I have another lip. So I have a lip here, all the way around to put more rocks leading up. And then this will have holes drilled into it where I'm going to put pipes all the way down for drain holes. It'll go down, so I won't have to flex seal or even put the pond liner in there anymore on this part. The water will just go down these PVC pipes in 3 locations down to the ground. So we're going to do that right now. I've already pre-cut all my wood, so all I have to do is put them in place with some pre-drilled some holes, and we're going to go ahead and put this into shape here. I've got the trim boards on the inside there now, so when I go ahead and put one more piece of board on there, so let's just say this was a board, this will go right on there, then we'll have a lip in here, we'll have a lip right here, and then we'll have the top part. And so now the bottom of the actual pot where the trees are growing will just be about this deep, are 2 inches or so. So that's enough for the roots to grow. I could keep it deeper on one side if I have a bigger tree, but the trees are going to sit right up in here and here, and so we don't want it to go all the way down to the ground, which would be 6 inches plus 2 inches plus, you know, it's going to be 12-inch pot. That's going to be way too deep of a pot. So these two, we've got our little borders around there, and they are ready to be put in place there. So from the bird's eye view, I've got the left and the right side, and these pieces are just loose. I just put these pieces on, and we'll have a flat piece of wood that goes on these, and then this will be where the soil lies, you know, a good 2 inches or so or more, based on, depending upon how high we have the rock structure. So these are both loose, and they sit on these right here. Now the problem is right now is, of course, they're loose. I don't have them secure in any fashion at the moment. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to secure them. And one of my ideas is when I have a piece of wood here, I'm going to drill a hole, got a 1-inch pipe, PVC pipe in here, and we'll put a pipe here through this layer and then through this layer. And I'll do that 3 times on this side. 1, 2, 3 for 3 drainage holes. And when they're in place, it'll hold on to this bottom floor, and it'll hold on to this, and then it won't wiggle around, and it'll be just fine. And then once rocks are on there and we build this structure up and put some sealant around, it's going to be heavy and it's not going to move around. So we should be okay. So I'm going to go cut some pieces of wood that'll lay just like this, and then we will put the pipe in here in 3 spots. And then we'll bring it back in here, and wherever the pipe hits the wood, I'll take a pencil and see if I can trace around that and make the holes there as straight as possible so we can have that sit nice and snug. So we're going to go ahead and find the wood that's going to go on top of here and drill some holes so this pipe fits through. We're going to do that now. Now that I have the trim within the frame that I made, or frame within a frame, I can put a piece of wood on there that'll sit and have the less deep of a pot for the bonsai soil and the roots to grow. But now I have to find that piece of wood that's going to fit on there to make that bonsai soil stop. So out to the garage we go to find the right piece of scrap wood. Well, there we have it. So I found some extra wood that I had that was kind of a whiteboard on one side and a chalkboard on the other. The whiteboard on the bottom will help prevent some extra moisture from ruining wood. But I'm going to go ahead and probably put some Flex Seal in here, and so we'll make sure that none of this wood is exposed to any of the elements of the watering of the tank. From the fish tank, there's going to be some pond liner that comes over here, and then I'll drape it over here, and then I'll have some extra pieces up here that'll drape up on the rock, and so the tube will go through all of those layers. So now we have to drill 1, 2, 3 holes into the wood here, and then go trace it on the inside piece, and then we'll be able to have these stable in the fish pond. And they only weigh about 1 to 2 pounds each, so they add a couple pounds of weight. Not too terrible. So I gotta go get my drill bits and we'll drill some holes. So that's what I was afraid of. The 1 inch is too big. So it sits in there, it'll be a nice drain, but it's wobbly, and I was hoping to get a tighter fit. Have a nice bit that was this size. So this is too small and this is just a little bit too big. Now I can, of course, once this is in the pot, I can go ahead and I can seal all of this. I also, once I have pond liner laying over this, and if I just put a little pinhole with the scissors and then put this through, that'll kind of hold it in place too, and then we'll put some Flex Seal around that so we'll have a good seal around this. And if a little bit of water seeps through this part, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'm just trying to keep the structure of the pot as dry as possible so all the water soaks down at the bottom and we don't have a lot of loose water in this area right here to damage all this wood that's not treated at the moment. We could, of course, put some stain around it to protect it longer, but it's just not going to be touched with that much water. So it'll be all covered up with some pond liner and other parts to this, some sealant, from fish tank sealant, and so it'll be pretty waterproof. And then I will Flex Seal it because it's easy enough to spray some Flex Seal in here and have it good. So we're going to go ahead with the inch because that's what I have, and then we'll have to adjust from there. It took a while to find just the right piece of wood from my scraps in the garage to go in the bottom part of these 2 side pots that will actually now bring the pot a little higher off the ground. One note of in retrospect, this is where I look at my pot and say, oh man, why did I make the pot 6 inches off the ground, the main pot? That only needed to be 3 or 4 inches because everything else is going to be built above. However, if I made it 3 inches, maybe with all the bulky rocks on top, it wouldn't have fit the scale very well. So in the end, the 6 inches might be the answer. It looks like our holes are going to work. So when the fish tank is ready, the pond liner, something like this, not this one. This is what I cut for the bottom before, which I will not need anymore. This will go and be the fish tank, or a pond if you will. And I'll have straps that come out over here and attach to the wood and hold on like that. And then we'll have some fish tank seal and some rocks, and we'll have all kinds of sealant there. So what I'm thinking I could do is I could bring the pond liner all the way to the edge here, and then I'll make my little slits, and that little extra part of the rubber will actually be almost like a gasket, and it'll hold this in place a little bit better. So I'll just do a little snip there and kind of force it way in there. It'll fit on there tight, and then again we'll flex seal so there'll be nothing but the top of it, which will stick out. It'll be cut level with this. So all the soil water will pool in here, and the water will drain through the tank, or through the pot, all the way to the bottom under the ground, and it won't touch any of the wood. Excuse me. So this is now a reservoir for bonsai soil. Right side, left side. A couple of trees here, a couple of trees here, and then the waterfall is going to come up on this side, we hope, and come down right here and spill over the top. So now we just have to find out where these touch the wood, draw some holes with a pencil, and then we'll have them in the spots we need them. I'm going to make sure this is in the spot it's going to be in. If it wasn't, right there, right there. So I just put the PVC piping as straight as possible in the center of the circle as much as possible. We need the straightest edge possible to make this work. There we go. And then we lift up very carefully. And now I have to do the holes. Hole number 1. Whoops. I caught it, I think. Hole number 2. Remember, we're going to have a little bit extra space, so if we're off by a fraction of an inch, it's not going to be so bad there. So there's 2. The third one will fit in here. Remember, we have a hole in here, so if we have to fit any equipment back here, motors and pumps and stuff, aeration systems, we can put them down here, and they'll huddle underneath here. So now we have to do this side. So let's see if I can get the flattest side over here. That one's in. Let's make sure this is where it's supposed to be. It is. That one's not as straight of a cut. There we go, they're straight right there. Right about there. Right about there. We'll lift this side up. In with our pencils, or just one pencil. We draw the base of where this circle is going to be. And some of them didn't land exactly in the middle of a piece of wood, so that's a bit of a bummer. We need the drill bit, and we'll drill those holes next. So I was able to drill the holes into the bottom of the pot without that section being there. I only had to drill 2 on that side. And then we put our risers up here and match up the holes. And I've got my long tubes, so we'll have to cut these to size. Goes all the way down, goes all the way down, goes all the way down. So when we cut these right here, in here, and here, the water will go down and it'll drain into these drain holes, and we won't have a lot of water pooling in the bonsai pots. We like good drainage. Let's see if the other side fits. Hole number 1, hole number 2, and that just goes down. That's going to be a loosey-goosey one. So we'll have to find some way to make sure that that's held into this part right here, because it's going to be down there where it's got possibly some pumps and electrical equipment in there. So we'll cut all those to size when we're ready to put this all in and make it solid. One other thing that I decided to do with the leftover piece of plexiglass that I cut is I'm going to find a way to seal this right here. So this is the back of the pot, won't matter really where it goes, and just so it has a place to rest on. And so when these are in place and in a permanent spot, I'll be able to put this right here and seal this on as well. And when I seal this on, you'll be able to see in the fish tank right through all the way outside to the other part of this. It'll be dark underneath there, and unless I have lights in there or the sun is shining, I'm not sure what we'll see behind there. If it looks really atrocious, I will just cover this with a black piece of wood, kind of like this here panel stuff that I have. I can just place the sheet over here. But this is a nice thick material, and it's glass, so I can peek in there and see the fish from any angle, front or back of the pot. This will be the less attractive side, but I'll make it as pretty as possible. This will be the pretty side, and we'll be able to see all our features. And again, we're going to hope to have water coming down right here, just a little tiny waterfall into our fish pond. So I'm guessing right now that's about 2 to 3 gallons of space. We will get our pond liner and scoop that around here, scoop this around here, and seal it down in front of the glass real low, and seal it down here at the bottom part of the glass here. And we'll be able to have fish swimming around in there while we have our bonsai trees growing on top. So this is probably a good stopping point. The next thing I have to do is figure out how we are going to make sure that it just kind of stays in place. And we're going to get that pond liner that will fit over this all the way to the edges here, where then we can flexi seal and protect this unit. Nothing like tinkering around in the garage on a winter's day trying to make this bonsai pot tank come to life. So we're making more and more progress. So we have the 2 sides of the pot now with the nice black coated, actually the chalkboard side of the whiteboard chalkboard piece of wood that I had left over in the garage. And we got our pipes holes in there, so we can have our PVC pipes in there ready for some drainage, and we'll get that further all together and connected and solid as we get further along down the project. Hey, that's going to do it for this one. We got more updates just around the corner, so stay close to YouTube. All right, take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we'll catch you on the next one.